Welcome back, guys. So today, let's do another Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie and review Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2003 remake. And before I actually talk about the movie, let's have Derek from Derek's Horror Corner take it away and do his segment for our collab, because we've been collabing on every single Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and we'll collab on the last couple as well. The whole franchise. So, without further ado, let's just give Derek the spotlight. Take it away, Derek.
I'm Derek from Derek's Horror Corner, and I'm here for yet another collab with Corey from CDR for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. This time we'll be doing the remake. So my quick thoughts on the remake. I feel like it's really good in that it borrows some things from the original, but it also tells like its own unique story as well. So it's similar enough to the original to not be insulting to it, but different enough to be entertaining in its own right. So I really like that aspect of it. Now, when it does come to the plot and story, I feel like there are some pacing issues the first few minutes, and there are some questionable decisions made in the first half of the movie by the characters, but I still really like the plot of this movie. When it comes to the cast and characters, Andrew Bernarski's my favorite Leatherface, like I said in my review at the beginning, more than Gunnar Hansen from the original. Arlie Ermey as the sheriff is amazing as always. I think Jessica Biel's really good as well. But when it comes to a lot of the other characters, they're not bad. They're just kind of there. They're serviceable. They're okay. Now, when it comes to the gore, I was kind of disappointed in this movie a little bit because they got a decent number of kills, but most of them are in the back half of the movie, so the first half is slow-paced. And they have some homages to the original, like the sledgehammer hit, hanging the guy in the hooks. Those are homages to the original. But you don't really see any gore. There's like 2 chainsaw kills, but you don't really see anything. There's very little gore in this movie, especially when you take into account that it was a 2000s movie, so that's kind of disappointing. But it's still pretty good. Pretty good number of kills, pretty decent gore. Just a little bit disappointing there. Very fun, very rewatchable. Like I said, it is one of the best horror remakes out there. I'd probably put it in my top 10 remakes of all time. And I love the last act. I love the ending of this movie where, like, Jessica Biel escapes. She runs and hides in the house with the guy. He sacrificed himself so she can leave. She goes to the meat factory. She hides in the locker, jumps out, chops his arm off. When they get to the store, she takes the baby, hot wires the car, runs the sheriff over, and then you have that nice jump scare with Leatherface at the end. I love the last few minutes of this. The ending is a happy ending, but it's so well done and it's so perfect. So I really love this remake. I think it's one of the better movies in the franchise and one of the better remakes out there. Again, Corey, thank you for letting me collab with you on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. This is Derek from Derek's Horror Corner. Come check out my channel.
Alright, thank you so much, Derek. Now let's talk about the remake. And watching all these in order of release, like the first 4 and then this one, the thing I'll give this movie, I think, out of watching all of these in order so far, I think that this one is, after the first 2, the most competent one. And I'm not saying that in a bad, negative way, because I do like this movie. I do like it. But overall, like, this one I think is a really great remake, because the way remakes go with these big horror franchises, usually for me, they're either not interesting or they're just kind of dull. And this one, it's a little dull in some parts, but overall, I think that this one felt like it had, like, a purpose to it. Like, I felt like there was a real vision to it. There was a vision to this director, Marcus Nispel, who would later go on to direct the Friday the 13th remake, which I'm not a big fan of. There's things I like about it, but I'm not a big fan of that. So, New Line Cinema returned after Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4 was Columbia Pictures, Sony. They came back, returned to the franchise, and started again with this remake route. And this was one of the first actual remakes that, in terms of, like, the 2000s where like all these horror franchises got remade. This is the first one of the first ones, and I like that it makes it the best one, honestly, because I'm thinking about horror remakes, and I haven't seen Let Me In. So I hear that one's a great one, but I haven't seen that. So in terms of like the big like horror franchises like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, this is easily the best remake out of those three, easily. And I love how they brought back a lot of authenticity to this movie. Like this, in terms of filmmaking, is a really great horror movie. The way it's directed, the way it's shot, the gore, the brutality is really good. I love the beginning where we have the same voice actor from the first movie from 1973. That is awesome. I really is it 1975 or 73? I'm blanking. Spur of the moment. But I love that voice actor comes back and does the narration. But in this one, it's cool because they do like a crime story thing where like it shows black and white video footage of like these policemen going into the house of the Hewitt family, not the Sawyers, the Hewitts in this version. And I like how it's like a true crime type of story, and I think that's pretty cool. I like how they added that difference. That's a cool opening, because even though I think the original narration is scarier because it's just black text crawl and it's just that voice is terrifying, that guy is one of the scariest voices of narration in any film. And that's what makes the first film so scary as well. But I like that they brought him back, and that's pretty cool. It's just a really awesome addition. And I really do love how this movie, in terms of cinematography, in terms of visuals and brutality, and characters are fine too. It really, yeah, I love how they make this feel like they're trying to make it more than just a sequel. And I know it's a remake, but you know what I mean. Like another one of these comes out, whether it's a remake or a sequel. And I like how this one tried to be something different. I thought that was pretty cool in just terms of artistic merit. Like cinematography is really good in this. There's and Marcus Nispel did this in like the Friday remake as well, but the characters in that I could not stand. The only thing I liked was Derek Mears in that movie, and the gore was kind of cool, but I really like the characters brought me down in that one. And in this case, this film, I really do like these characters. Like the prequel that I watched right before, Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, I like those characters too, and I like these ones. I think that they're all solid characters in these two films in their own universe, the remake and the prequel. And I really love this moment in the movie where they pick up this girl who is supposed to be like the equivalent of the hitchhiker, except for it throws you through a loop and does a different thing where like you don't expect it. Because I thought, rewatching this, because I haven't seen this in a while, I thought, oh, this is gonna be like the hitchhiker, and then I forgot, because it's been a while since I've watched this, that it's like a crazy girl, and it's implying that she escaped from the family and is running away. And this actress, for this couple of minutes in this scene, is incredible. Like, she is losing it. Like, this performance seems so scary and so real, where she's just pale and she's crying and she's freaking out, saying like, "You're going the wrong way. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back there." And like, it is a moment of like fantastic acting. Like, it is truly scary. And this moment, I would have loved to see this in the I would have loved to have seen this in the theater, but that moment of her shooting herself in the throat, like just going, or right here, like going up through her head, is disturbing. And then that incredible cinematic shot of them all screaming, it goes through the hole in her head outside of the vehicle while they're screaming, and that is one of the coolest cinematic shots in any horror movie I've ever seen. I feel like that is an incredibly underrated moment in this movie, because this movie got negative reviews, but because it's a horror movie, it's not like horror movies are there to do kind of the same thing for the most part, like action movies, like romantic movies. Like they're not trying to be something very high class, so like it got bad critic ratings. But I feel like they should at least give some artistic merit to this, But I know that doesn't mean much when it comes to like reviewers, but still, that moment is incredible. It's just again one of the coolest cinematic moments in horror. Like it is fantastic. And I really like Jessica Biel's character Erin. And again, this is a Michael Bay production, so of course he got an incredibly gorgeous woman. But I love that unlike the Transformers movie, she actually has like a purpose. Like she's not just there to have guys go, "Oh, she's really hot." I like that this because I hate when people do that. I hate whenever movies are just have women there just to be there because they're cute. I hate that, and I like how in this film, yeah, she wears an outfit that makes yes, it's great, but I love the fact that this character has a purpose and she's not just there because she's eye candy. I do like that, and it's like Chrissy Jordana Brewster in the beginning, which is the prequel, where it's the same kind of thing, where it's like, oh, Michael Bay picked out these women, it's obvious. But I like that he just produced it. He wasn't involved with like directing it, so it's like these women have more of a purpose, unlike in his movies where they just are there to be eye candy. So I really like her in this movie. I think that she's a really great final girl. I think that she actually works really well. She was good like Jordana Brewster was in the last one. Like they both, it's because these films are so similar. The prequel and this one, they're very similar in a lot of ways. But I don't know which one I like more between both of them because they both were really solid final characters, and I really do like them a lot. And Arlie Ermy is perfect casting to play Drayton Sawyer equivalent in this movie, where he's Charlie Hewitt in this version. But Arlie Ermy, just an incredible actor in his own right. Like it blew me away how in this movie, because he can play military dick very perfectly well. Like, and in the beginning, the prequel, he does that, and it's scary. And in this film, he is just this guy who is unsuspecting, kind of an asshole. And then as it goes along with these characters realizing how fucked up this guy is, it is terrifying. And Arlie Ermy is incredible in both of these movies. He is the perfect replacement for the guy who played Drayton Sawyer in the first two. But he doesn't play it the same way. Like in the first original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like the Drayton Sawyer guy is just kind of there. He doesn't have much to say. And in the second one, it's a comedy, so he's very comedic. And in this one, this version of that character is terrifying and horrifying, and he's scarier than he was in the original movie. So I love Arlie Ermy's performance. He is genuinely horrifying, and I don't know how to, like, I don't even know how to react to him sometimes because he's just that good of an actor. Like, he's incredible. So I really love that. And again, he was very unsuspecting in the beginning of the movie. Like, it's like he's kind of a dick, but you don't realize what the full intention of the story is with his character, and you realize that he's part of the family. And the movie is in all accounts a remake, but it's a remake in a sense, like the Friday the 13th remake, but it's like it doesn't do much that's the same besides the fact like these kids encounter Leatherface and his family in Texas. Like in this version, they're going to a concert. I think that it's a Skinnerd, so that's pretty cool. But it's not, there's pretty much not a lot of similarities. Like there's nods to the original movie. But again, we had all these sequels, part 2 and 4 especially, that did a lot of repeats of the original movie. So I feel like they had to do something different than this in this one. So I did like that this one was different enough. There are obviously things that are from the original, like the hook thing with the guy getting hooked, but that's later in the movie, and it's not the same area, it's not the same lighting. And also the ending is very different. I like how awesome the ending is. Where Aaron is being chased, Aaron and the other guy, I already forgot his name, Morgan, that's what his name is. Forgot it said it on my notes, but Aaron and Morgan are running away. Morgan gets killed. That great final act, I think that final act is really good where they're at the meat shop. I think that's a really cool place for terror to work because she's hiding in all of this hanging meat. Like it's a really cool place in terms of cinematically how it looks in terms of how it is an effective place for places to hide. I really do like that. And I really liked the ending. I liked how it, like, in the end of the movie, like, Leatherface does get damaged. Like, he has an arm gone, and he does still rev the chainsaw at the end. But I like that she gets away. I do like, it's like the first one. She gets away, but she doesn't end up as insane. But I liked how different it was, and I liked how it ended in the rain. That was a really cool, again, cinematically, that's a very cool shot, or cinematography wise. That just, it looks beautiful and incredible. And this is a beautiful looking movie. So I do like that. That in the beginning do the same job of being very similar and very beautiful in terms of cinematography. So I really love that. So overall, this one is really good. I feel like I really do like the main, like Aaron, the main character. Everybody else is just kind of okay. They're not terrible. They're not awful. I kind of felt that way in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning too, where like it's like Jordana Brewster's good, but everybody else is fine. They're just kind of forgettable because they're there to die. But I don't know, like the characters in this are fine, but it did get a little boring every once in a while. Same thing with the prequel. It did that too, where it's like it just got a little bit boring because these characters aren't great, but they're fine. Besides the final girls in both of these movies, but overall, I enjoyed this a lot. Still on rewatch, it just was a little bit of a bore, kind of. And I've only seen it a couple times. I mean, it's good. It's definitely one of the best remakes out there for horror. But I don't think, in terms of ranking it, I don't think it's as good or better than the first two. I love the first two movies, and this one might be after that. We'll see. That or the beginning, one of the two. It's hard to rank these, but I will do a ranking video. But overall, I did enjoy this one on rewatch. It was a fun time for the most part. So that's my thoughts on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. So tell me down below what you think of this movie, and thank you guys so much for watching.